This is the Twin Cities Real Estate Investing Show. Real stories, real success in Twin Cities real estate. Join your hosts, Adam Tafel and Tim Swierczek, as they dive into the world of Twin Cities real estate investing. Together, they share valuable insights and practical tips to help both new and seasoned investors navigate the Minneapolis-St. Paul market. With a focus on relatable stories from real people, this show will empower you with the knowledge and confidence to thrive in your investing journey. Guys, take it from here.
What's up, Tim?
Hey, man. How you doing?
We have Jacob Wrich today.
Yeah.
Jacob was connected to me through friend of the pod, Tyler Nash. And, you know, Tyler basically, neither of us know Jacob, but Tyler said you should talk to this guy because he has an interesting strategy. And so that's what we're going to do. And I'd say this conversation took a turn that neither of us expected, right?
Totally, yeah. It reminds me of the intentional living conversation we had where I had no clue that we'd be talking about it. And next thing you know, half the show is talking about, adult disability group homes.
Yeah. So we talk a lot about his group home, his assisted living business, I guess, for lack of a better term. And then we get into new construction, single family investing, which not a common strategy, but for Jacob, it works. So,
and as far as just a little plug here real quick, in case you don't listen to the end, we found him through a listener who thought he'd be interesting. And we now have a website that you can go to and submit guests and show ideas. So please use that feature.
And you can submit yourself as a guest.
Absolutely.
Idea.
By all means. So we're looking for new and interesting content. People who are based in the Twin Cities or investing in the Twin Cities, and they have to be able to meet in person, no Zoom stuff. So that'd be the only criteria.
Heck yeah.
Interesting. But yeah.
TwinCitiesRealEstateInvesting.com. It looks good. That's our slogan. It looks good now.
Here's the show.
Right, here's the sponsors. Welcome to the Twin Cities Real Estate Investing Show, brought to you by Shook. Shook is the all-in-one platform to help you manage your rentals, built for real estate investors just like us. Shook offers lightning-fast ACH payments. I just got a few properties set up with Shook, and I'm getting paid way faster than my old service. They can also do custom things, like if you need to pay a manager a percentage, they can take care of that. The staff at Shook, Oliver, and the team are just so awesome to work with, and we want to thank Shook for sponsoring the podcast. At $5 per unit per month, it's totally worth checking out shookrentals.com to book a live demo. In the show notes, we're also offering a discount of 20%. Use the code TCREI20. Thank you. One of the hardest parts of investing is finding a solid property manager. I've worked with plenty over the years. Some are better than others. Earlier this year, I did a 10-unit deal where John and his team at RPM Viking handled the management for our mutual out-of-state client. They were professional, they were responsive, they delivered exactly as promised. Now they are my number one management referral, and I'm proud to have them supporting the show. Learn more at rpmviking.com. Use the code TCREI300 for $300 off maintenance services when you sign up with RPM Viking as your property manager. Thanks for sponsoring the show. Investors, if a deal gets messy, call Network Title. They can handle the BRRRR, the 1031, mixed use, commercial, whatever it takes, so you can close on time. Working with Network Title is kind of like having another personal assistant. That's how on the ball these people are. Network Title, complex deals made simple. Link in the show notes.
And then I know there's new audiences coming in that probably want to hear some of that stuff. But yeah.
No, I hear you. I've actually learned some things because I turned it off and just stopped listening to it for years. Like,
really?
Maybe even 4 or 5 years in a row, just really didn't listen to it.
Yeah.
Now I kind of cherry pick an episode here or there. I'll see a title that looks interesting and I'll kind of
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Like if it's like market predictions and stuff like that, I kind of brush over it.
Who are the hosts these days? Because here's the thing.
There's really one host.
It's Dave Meyer, and then Henry Washington now is doing it too.
Yeah, I like when Henry Washington's on.
I like him too, yeah.
Yeah.
I should give it another try. I just Brandon and David had such a freaking great chemistry. And they were funny and they talked about life, and it was a lot more than just real estate with those guys.
Are you running? This would be fine to talk about. Have you seen their recent YouTube episode? Recent meaning I saw it within the last couple of months.
Who's they?
David and Dave Green and.
Here's what we can. Hey, we have a screen now, so look at what we can do.
So do like I don't know, Bigger Pockets, Spill the Bean. What's it called?
Spills what?
Just do David. Let's see here.
Why I'm no longer hosting BPO. That was a year ago. You said this was the latest.
There we go. It's right there. It's that one. 2 months ago. Bigger Pockets fired us. Here's everything we didn't say.
Oh, no kidding.
That's worth a watch. They're not like super. They just kind of talk about how it happened and what happened about it.
Okay, so this is 54 minutes, so we're not going to watch it together right now.
No, but they talk back and forth. So there are some things where they individually. This is them getting together and talking through like how it ended.
Okay,
and basically they were both kind of surprised, and it was frankly what I would say is, in their opinions, it was a money-based decision. They were making too much money, and it was bought by VC money, right? So VC bought it and said, we don't need to pay your salaries. We have enough listeners, and brought in someone from staff.
Got it. Okay. It was making too much money for Bigger Pockets.
And they were getting paid handsomely.
Yeah, they didn't want to pay the talent as much.
Yeah. And it sounds like that's why they also, during the thing, you also hear about, like, did you notice, like, they went from one podcast to, like, 6 or 8? And they also talk about that and why they think that happened. Because they were trying to diffuse so that they didn't have, so the talent was more diffuse and they didn't have two big stars. And they wouldn't let them speak at the conference because they didn't want to make them any bigger than they already were, essentially.
Sure, because it's like a one-man risk, or whatever they say, one-man exposure to a business where you don't want too much of that.
It's kind of interesting, but it goes very much along the lines of how I thought that Bigger Pockets podcast became less useful, and we really wanted to like fight that by staying hyper local. And we've already had people who want to do the podcast remotely, and we're like, no, you're awesome. People would want to listen to you, but you're not really Minnesota real estate, and you're definitely not local. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great when I listen and you guys are naming like specific neighborhoods and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I got to look up where that is. And then I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that pocket over there or something. And then, you hear like areas that you're super familiar with, and you're like I think you guys brought up, somebody was on the podcast and they were talking about buying up something over in Oakdale. And I'm like, I know exactly what he bought. I've driven by it a bunch of times. I was thinking about looking at that, and so that was that
John Scribante, the property manager, who bought over there?
Maybe it was over by Premium Bank. I remember.
Okay.
And I know exactly where it is because I have some friends that live over in that area, and it's kind of a newer development. But then there was an old property there with land that was kind of forgotten about in that whole development.
Sure.
And I think he was planning on kind of cutting that up and putting some houses on that.
So that would have
been that was John.
There's only two people who talked about anything like that, and it would be John or Ford, because he did the.
I think maybe it was Ford.
Oh yeah. Ford was talking about Oakdale.
Oh yeah. He had the lot next to it, right? There was the wooden lot next to it, and it was by Platinum Bank.
Yeah, Platinum Bank. Yeah, yes. Platinum Bank. Yep.
And I know the lot too. Yep. Actually, I know exactly because I've done a lot of business with Platinum Bank. I have 2 loans with them currently. So yeah.
Well, Jacob, dude, thanks for. How do I pronounce your last name?
Rich.
Jacob Rich.
W silent. Yep.
Great name for a real estate investor.
Yeah.
You were put on my radar by Tyler Nash, friend of the pod, because you were on a panel with him, with your property manager, or put on by your property manager company. Tell us about the panel. Like, how did you get selected, and what did you talk about? This was put on for real estate investors recently.
Yeah. So Fuse Real Estate, they do real estate power hours, they call them. I think it's once a month, maybe not every month, but yeah. So the CEO is Adam Hunt. He also is my agent when we purchased properties, and he just asked me if I would go on a panel, and they had a nice, like, so it was me, Tyler, and forget her name. I think
Was
it's
it the duplex chick?
The duplex chick. Yeah.
Kari Lundin.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. So that we just kind of, we each had kind of something different to offer. So like for me, the last year or so has been investing in new construction homes. And Tyler talked about his 11 unit that he was working on.
From hell.
Yeah. I think he talked about it on the pod. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kari was kind of talking about how to get started. So we kind of each had something different to offer. And it was a nice panel. Asked questions and had some audience participation, and got to network a little bit.
Nice.
Very cool. Well, how did we get here, man? Like, do you want to give us just a little bit of a rundown? We don't need much of a bio, but where'd you grow up, and how did you get to the point where you thought, I'm going to start investing in real estate? And what did those first deals look like? Yeah.
So, I grew up in Lake Elmo, and I still live in the same area in Oakdale. But after college, I was teaching. I met my wife, and we moved down to La Crosse so she could finish her degree. And then we moved up to Oakdale. My stepmom at the time was working at a group home, and they needed a live-in, and we needed a place to live. So basically, we got free rent to just kind of be there during the overnight hours. We did that, and I was teaching in Columbia Heights, and I just hated it. So I went up to my supervisor, and I'm like, hey, if you guys have any extra hours around the house, just let me know. I'll pick them up because I'm going to quit my job, and I don't have expenses because I'm not paying rent. So she said, well, there's actually a couple of our homes that are hiring a supervisor. And I said, well, just tell me what you do. She kind of gave me a rundown. So I applied for that, got that job, and I was supervised 2 homes up in Hugo.
And these are assisted living? Or
yeah. It's so it's 245D is the law. It's basically corporate adult foster care for people with disabilities.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly what we need to talk about that because that's what I want to do for my son, right? I mean, we can get more detail, but
yeah, awesome. Yeah, no, so it was a really great company. And I actually kind of worked there for like 10, 12 years. I applied when the administrator was leaving. I applied for the administration job, and got passed over. They did like an outside hire, and got kind of bitter about that. So then I just said, well, I'm going to look for ED positions somewhere else in a different type of, in a different company. Found one down in Hastings, got hired there as the ED. The current
that's executive director.
Yeah. Okay. Executive director.
But you only have experience teaching at this point.
Yeah. Well, I had supervised 2 of those group homes for 10 years.
Oh, got it. Okay, a lot of time.
Yeah, a lot of time passed
in this story.
Yeah,
I didn't follow that part.
Sorry about
okay.
That.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Yeah, no. So then I had a lot of experience working in the field, and then I got hired on at a small company in Hastings to be the executive director. The owner of it wanted to retire, so I basically purchased that company from her after about 2 years of being the executive director. In that process, then I purchased on a purchase agreement, basically, the company. It had real estate involved with
basically.
It. What's that?
You basically paid her on terms, I'm assuming?
Yeah, yep. So, but I said, when we did the purchase agreement, I said I want the ability to pay everything off early if I need to, in a lump sum, which I did. After I bought it, she died shortly after, unfortunately. And then her will kind of had the payments going to her family, but it was so spread out that I just basically didn't spend money for the first year and then paid all that off so that we were kind of on even ground. And then within that, though,
And approximately what year do you buy this company?
It was about 2018.
Okay.
I'd say about 2018. But within the company, like when I went there, the group homes that they were using, they weren't really like up to the same par of the bigger company that I was at before. Like the company I was at before, they would buy really nice homes to have for group homes. And I went to the new company and I'm like, you guys have this really beat down duplex that you have some like a group home in the downstairs, a group home in the upstairs. You have people living in like a small apartment downtown Hastings, and then they're renting like an old rundown property for like $1,700, and they're basically having to take care of all the maintenance on it and everything. And I'm just like, we got to get better properties. For the sake of the clients, I mean, they should be living in nice homes,
of course,
nice homes in the community,
have some ethics.
Yeah, and then you kind of realize like it's a great way to invest in real estate while building your company and making your company more valuable as well.
How many like units or properties did the company have when you bought the company? And I'm assuming when you buy the company, you also buy a bunch of real estate as well.
Yeah.
And do they have like management contracts with any other investors, or do they own everything that they're managing?
So they owned everything.
Okay.
And they only had 2 properties that they owned. They had 4-unit mixed use downtown Hastings, like right off of Main Street. That one had a commercial space in the front, and it's a studio apartment, but we use it as an office. And then upstairs was a group home. And then we had a duplex up and down, old Victorian, like 1880 construction. And then they rented one. But we started, by the time I sold the business in 2024. We had 5 single-family homes, like throughout the community. We still had the duplex, which I made into a triplex, and I was renting out to some of my employees just to try to give them affordable housing as well. Because really, that business is a staffing business, and we had 50 employees by the time I sold it. So what I wanted to do is be able to offer something that other group home companies couldn't offer to employees, which is affordable housing as well.
Plus, I imagine you can't pay huge salaries to people who are monitoring group homes, right? So like the staff themselves probably don't make a ton to be able to go buy a nice fancy home. So having affordable housing is a big benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we would pay roughly what you'd make at a lot of other places, right?
Sure. Not criticizing you. Just saying, like, the industry itself, it can't be like.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm saying like, it's unfortunate because the people that do that work really, really hard. And, sometimes they're cleaning up, bodily fluids, or they're having to deal with difficult behaviors. And
Are these like CNAs type of folks?
No, they're not CNAs. There's a lot of training that goes with it, but you don't have to have a degree to do it. They're called direct support professionals. Those are people that are hands-on day in and day out in a group home. And so, you try to pay a competitive wage to keep, good staff, but yeah,
sure.
Just to try to offer them some sort of additional benefit of affordable housing. And a number of my employees took advantage of that as well. And I charged, 25% below market rents on that stuff just because they're my employees and I want them to have a good place to live. And it's also an incentive to keep them there, especially good employees.
Right.
Will you break down like the basic economics of someone in this business? Like, how is the money coming in? Where is the money going out? Anything unexpected? If you're going to purchase a home to do this, what does the deal look like? Stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's funded through the state. So you get a contract, and that contract is based on the number hours that you're providing services within a day. They take a week and they average out per day, right? And they call it per diem. And that per diem is based on the level of care and level of need. And then every 2 weeks you bill for every day that you provided services for that individual. We had 21 individuals that we were providing services for by the end. So every 2 weeks we would bill, and say our billing totaled, by the end there was probably around $120,000 every 2 weeks. The same day that money comes in, 70% of it goes out in wages.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's a staffing company. So then you're dealing with 30% of that, and that's going towards insurance, housing, maintenance, like just everything else to run the business.
So at first I thought maybe the payments were just for the services, but that includes their housing as well. I mean, meaning, do you get a separate amount for their physical space?
Yes.
Or, okay, so it does break down a couple different ways.
Yeah. So that they also get room and board, what they call it, room and board. And it's a set amount for the whole state for individuals. And that's per month. And, by the time I left, I think it was maybe around $1,100 per person. We would have typically 4 people in a home. Right. So, okay. But that includes not just.
You said room and board. So yeah, you're including all utilities, all.
Yeah, we're
food.
paying all utilities, food. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Which
if
is
they
a
got
big
a Doritos
expense.
habit, you're paying for it.
Yeah. So you have meals all taken care of. And if you're eating even outside of the home too, that's your responsibility. Mm-hmm. So it covers all of their expenses for everything, like utilities, cable, internet, food, everything is covered for them for that.
Wow.
And
that's really not that much. Sorry.
In a 24-hour day, how many hours are you billing for? Or is it kind of, there's some routine stuff, but then some of it is as needed with people on call?
Yeah. So we have set schedules, and
okay.
And it's more than 24 hours per day, because you have
somebody's always there.
Somebody is pretty much always there. Before COVID, they would go to day programs or to work programs during the day. So you might have times where they weren't there.
Sure.
But you also have 2 people there a lot of the time. So you'd have 4 clients and 2 staff, because that way, if somebody needs to go out in the community and do something, the other ones don't have to go with, right?
Sure.
And then you have overnight staff, and you can, they can sleep while they're working. They just need to be available if somebody needs something during the night. In some higher care situations, you might have an awake overnight staff, because you have somebody that does have a lot of needs during the overnight period. But yeah, so but by the time I was done with that, we had 5 single family homes in the Hastings community that we had purchased. And then we still had the duplex, which we turned into a triplex. And we still had the property downtown, the mixed unit. And then we had, then we purchased a new office building and gym, because our clients actually needed a regular gym to go to. So we purchased an old funeral home in Hastings, and that was interesting, kind of remodeling that. But kind of the nice thing, the advantage I had in doing all of this is I had several maintenance staff that were very good at specific things. So I could go in, we would buy single family homes, and we would add, bedrooms, bathrooms. We would remodel we would take a attached single car garage and turn it into another bedroom and bathroom and laundry facilities on the main floor if people have mobility issues. So we would just go through, and we would buy kind of under market, and use the resources we have with the maintenance staff, and sometimes we'd have to contract for things, but they could do a lot, and then we would kind of.
Could we go through one of the homes that you bought back in the day when you had this business?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
You can talk about something else while I pull this up.
Yeah.
But,
So okay, I'll talk about So I have a son who has special needs, and he's pretty high functioning. And one of the things that we found is, well, first of all, he wants to be with people more his age, right? Mm-hmm. And also high functioning. There's such a big difference in the level of abilities, and he doesn't want to be in the world of the low functioning, yet the people in, let's call it normal life, don't want him either. So he's in this middle ground. So I really wanted to get specific and try to attract a certain amount of people, both male and female, in his approximate age group, let's say plus or minus 3 years, either direction, or 4. I don't know what's going to work, and try to create a group home that was based around them, that they could somewhat grow up, live together for potentially as long as they're alive, right? I mean, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So that there's a social aspect and friendships and all that.
It's a great idea.
We have a 10-bedroom duplex, which I thought would be good because you could separate the boys and the girls, and for obvious protection reasons and such. I guess right now this is just a thought in my head, but it's something that I think I will pursue. At least I want to gather more information. Just giving you that information, what are your first thoughts? Like, there's probably things I need to be immediate, concerned with, and probably things about my idea that already probably don't make sense, or whatever. Any
Could
thoughts
you get
on
the
that?
state money if you're renting to a immediate family member? That'd be one, right?
Yeah.
Well, we would be providing all the services.
Yeah,
for sure.
you can do that. Like the person that I bought my business from, she started it because her daughter had it's called Prader-Willi syndrome, and we only worked with people with Prader-Willi syndrome. It was a very specific group need, and so yeah, you could do that. And when we had homes, we would try to put people based specifically on like age, interest, and who are they going to like to hang out with, and so I think that's really smart. And then the one thing you might want to keep an eye on, at least talk to a licensor about it, is the duplex idea, because the state has really pushed hard at moving away from like anything where people are getting clustered up based on disabilities. So they have like a one roof policy.
Okay.
We had the duplex when I started, and we kind of got grandfathered in, but now, you could make a case, but in terms of licensing, they try to say like, well, you need to be a half a mile away from another group home, because they don't want people buying up a block and then just putting group homes on it, right? So they're trying to kind of avoid like kind of clustering them up. They want them kind of spread throughout the community, therefore kind of integrating them more into the community.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't want two under one roof.
Yeah, they try to avoid that. Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting. My initial thought was to start with that because it's easy. We already own it, and build a proof of concept and see if we can get people together. And then my real goal would be to create something where there was where it was purpose built, where there was a wing, again, separating males and females, a wing for each with a center common area. And I mean, I'd really like to do something like like a theater, and have it, like you said, like be really cool, and probably not be the most profitable thing I do, but
yeah, well, and profit isn't always the most important thing. I mean, it's a definite need to have good services for people with disabilities. And the other thing I would say about that is you could possibly make it work, because I know the state wants more people with disabilities like living independently in apartments, and like you said, is it your son, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's higher functioning, probably can do a lot of things on his own, but might need help with certain other aspects of life. Just to have somebody that maybe doesn't need 24-hour care, but has a staff like on site that can help out. And we're seeing a lot more of like, there's people that are living in apartments, and then there's a staff that lives on the same floor, right?
Yeah.
And then there are community activities and stuff like that they can do, and that's actually better. They feel like they're more integrated, but there are also other people without disabilities living within the same community too.
sure,
So-
that could be good.
And is the state more lenient when it comes to, like, could you have a few apartments in the same building because it's not single family zoning?
Yep.
They just don't want it taking over the single family
Yep.
areas.
Yeah,
Got it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Especially, also, you have a lot of people that are living in group homes that maybe have mental health issues or something like that, and that can be disruptive in a neighborhood. And But if you have
If
just
there's a lot of them at
if there's a
once,
lot
yeah,
of them at
yeah.
once, yeah. So like you can get exceptions to that rule too. We've done that before, but our licensor will look at it and go like, okay, what kind of group is going to be living in that home, right? Is this going to be something that's like high behavior, and we have another high behavior home that's like really close by?
Yeah.
Like we want to avoid that because they're just it's optics partly.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that people don't start like resenting living near a group home,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. I can see all that. My thought is literally just convenience because we could manage it that way, right? Like
Yeah.
we could start without like huge investments and all that, right? I mean, we already own the place, so we'd have to furnish it and we're good, right? And,
Yeah.
and obviously staff it, right? And
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the staffing or anything else, so I'm definitely curious. Did you hire? Did you hire people without any experience and then train them up, or how did that work?
Yeah. Actually, we had both, people with experience and people without. I almost preferred sometimes people without experience because our group was very unique to the disability community because they of their special, with their syndrome, they had very special needs within the developmental disability community. So, so I liked training them up because a lot of times they would bring bad habits from like other providers, and we were like, no, we're going to establish how we do things here, and it's, I'd like to think that we were a little bit more, we had higher expectations maybe than some of the other providers, which, I suppose in any group you find those ones that, aren't performing as well. I mean, landlords are the same way, right?
Well, let's pull up an example of like, what you would consider a good house for doing something like this, and then we can talk about maybe like what changes you made to it.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Go ahead and hit me with an address.
Yeah, like do your favorite, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Well, so the first one we did is on Bailey Street in Hastings.
What's the house number?
You know what? I'm not going to say house numbers just because I don't want to
fair.
like put out.
For me to be able to find it, well, you know what I can do?
Oh, sure, because
I don't want to out that
Oh
it's a
yeah,
group
then
home,
let's not
right?
even show it. Probably.
Yeah.
Is there one that's no longer?
No.
Well, what would the characteristics be?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
like
fair.
yeah, okay. So the first one I bought was a Rambler. It was a 3-bedroom when we bought it. We needed 4 bedrooms. So
One of those bedrooms going to be for staff, right? Because they're going to be living there.
we just had a pull out in the living room.
Okay.
For the staff. When we got a little further along, we would get a 5th bedroom sometimes for staff too. That one had a little bit higher needs at night, so they needed to be kind of in the common area, instead of kind of closed off. But
Okay.
but with that one,
You don't want to get too comfortable at night.
yeah, exactly. So that one was kind of funny. So we went in there and we couldn't find anything. This was like 2018, 2019 ish, and we just couldn't find anything on the market that was really kind of what we needed.
And what did you need?
We wanted 4 bedrooms and 2 bath. We wanted multi-level. That way you can have like 2 bedrooms on one level, 2 bedrooms on another. It just kind of separates people out a little bit more, gives them more room.
Sure.
It's nice to have like kind of a common area on each level too, so that like, someone can hang out and watch TV downstairs, someone else can hang out and watch TV upstairs, those types of things. But this one we went in, they had a room that was like a big closet, and we're like, well, we can maybe turn this into another bedroom. We'd have to put in an egress, which we did, but we were trying to figure out, they had a bunch of outlets like in the ceiling. And we're like, why do they have these outlets in the ceiling? And it took us till we had bought it, and my maintenance guy was going up in the attic, and he called me and he said, yeah, I just found a big bag of weed in the basement, or in the attic. We're like, oh, it was a grow room. So
Like a big bag of weed.
it was a grocery bag half full of weed.
Hell yeah,
and he goes,
dude.
what do you want me to do with this? And I said, call the cops because you're holding on to a felony right now.
Yeah, you get pulled over on the way home.
yeah.
Sir, you're not going to believe this, officer.
So, but yeah, so that one, we put new carpet in the basement. did some painting. We had to replace a few windows. The emergency escape through like bedrooms is a little bit different in group homes than it is in just like a typical. So you have to have bigger openings, and they have to open a certain amount. So, yeah,
Even on upper floors, do they have to have like ladders and stuff? Or
yeah, we had to have like fire escape ladders in properties that didn't have an exit on that top floor. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
That would be challenging for this property then.
Yeah.
Unless you could, I suppose, put the staff up there, maybe.
Yeah. So the emergency escape ladder, we just had a box, and it just had like hooks on it.
Oh, so it can
And then
be,
I've
it
seen
can
those,
it can
yeah.
hook over the window, and then you just throw it out. and then
Okay,
you
so it
just climb
wasn't a
down.
permanent- okay.
No, it wasn't permanent. You just had to have one in the property. It's almost like having a fire extinguisher. It's no different. You just have it there. Yeah, that's fine.
And you need bigger than your standard like Rambler window.
Yep,
As well.
yep,
Like
yep.
that one would work.
Yeah, that one would work. It just needs to open all the way too. That's the other thing. Like the licensor would come in, and you'd have to crank it all the way open to make sure so that it's not getting stuck part way or something like that.
And they want the crank windows.
The crank windows are
they're
the
the
easiest.
easiest,
Yeah. We do have like some of our first properties, like they had the old windows on like the old properties, and you sit there and you mess with it and you're trying to get it open, and it was a pain. We ended up replacing a lot of those.
And big slider windows can work too. Yeah.
Yeah.
For just mental. I mean, like, I bet you most of your egress windows are crank if you look at them.
Oh, yeah,
they're
definitely.
Probably, They're probably all crank, actually. It's just,
They are.
it's the most efficient, easy way. Otherwise, you have to build a lot bigger space because it's about the opening, not the glass, right? So if you need your window, let's say, to collapse over itself,
Yep.
it needs to be essentially twice as big as the
Yeah.
fittable opening, right? Meaning the glass opening has to be twice as big as the space you could go through, or the
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
that makes a lot of sense. I can't stand crank windows in general, but they go bad, but whatever.
wow.
Cool.
This is
This is great because we thought we were going to be talking about new construction.
We can talk about that too.
This
Yeah.
is so interesting. I guess before we like put a bow on this and send it off, like any other final thoughts on the business? Well, or tell us about your exit, I guess.
Yeah. So
Or did you have anything else, Tim? Before?
well, a well-run business. I mean, because if I'm doing this, obviously, it might become my career almost, right? I mean, like if I do this, I don't know how involved I'll have to be, but like I'm certainly considering it. What does it look like for the owner of a company like that?
yeah, I mean, like the owner of any company, there's a lot on your shoulders, and the hardest part, I think, is the staffing. I mean, you're competing with not just other group home companies, but you're competing with, Aldi's or, Starbucks. I mean, other places where they can go make roughly the same amount of money, right?
Yeah.
So you need to have staff. I mean, that's the number one thing, and you need to have good, well-trained staff, and that makes it go a lot easier. But you're still on call, 24 hours a day. And when I was, started by supervising group homes, I was on call 24 hours a day. And then I got this company, and then I was on call 24 hours a day. I had one Christmas where we had a fire at the property that we were renting at the time, where it was like on the outside where the electrical box is on the outside of the property. Mm-hmm. And that started on fire, and that was on Christmas Eve. So I spent Christmas at home while my kids and wife were with her parents. And, so I missed Christmas with my kids that year. There were times where I'm on vacation and I get a call from, I had a program director, and she would handle most things while I was gone, but sometimes she needed something, and so there's, those moments where it gets frustrating, it gets hard. You're never really off work entirely, which, I suppose it's kind of like that as a landlord too, but not as much. I mean, especially now I have the property management company in place. I don't really have to worry about too much stuff. Like it's more just emails and phone calls and texts and stuff. So, I exited because I just was getting burnt out, and I kind of did some calculus in my head and went like, okay, as long as I invest this well, I should be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what did I guess a question for both of you guys, what did lending look like along the way as you're getting loans for these deals? Is it it's all commercial?
Yeah, I actually worked with a really good local lender. and she was able to give me 30-year fixed on all of my properties as long as I use them as group homes.
Wow.
And, I was buying I think my interest rates between all of them, I had them anywhere between 2.75 and 3.25 was maybe my highest, because I just refied at the right time on a couple of them when rates were really low too. So I was able to get 30-year fixed on that, and it was super easy. And then you just put them in a separate LLC and, out of the company, and then you just pay yourself rent.
Cool.
And did you keep the properties, or did you sell them with the business?
Yeah, so I sold them with the business, and that's how I got a lot of my new construction homes. So I sold the business in 2024, and they wanted to buy the real estate as well, but my business broker would have taken 10%, and I didn't want to do that.
Too much for a real estate sale.
Yeah, exactly. So what I did was I so I leased them out to the buyer of the business, and I gave them just on basically a triple net lease there were 6 properties. There's the 5 homes, and then our office and gym area, and so those were the ones I gave them that they leased, and then I gave them the option to buy after 1 year, because I've just figured that would give me enough time to kind of figure out what to do with that capital. I kind of planned on doing a 1031 exchange anyways. So, but with the business sale, I didn't really have time to kind of like think about that as well. And I didn't want to pay cap gains on all that.
Cap gains and bigger, and almost twice the fee that you probably pay. And yeah,
exactly. So I would just watch all of that get eaten up.
And heck, if you sell it to them direct, you pay probably no fee, right? Because it was at that point, it's a 1-to-1 transaction.
Yeah. Yep. So it worked out very well. Yeah, some minor lawyer fees. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool. And so then you thought, what am I going to do with this capital? And what did you consider? Do you consider anything else before you went to new construction, single family?
Yeah, I was always just kind of looking on Facebook groups, looking on the MLS, seeing if I could find anything off market. And but I talked with my agent, who's also with the property management company, Adam Hunt, and I said, well, this is my timeline. This is what we're doing. And we actually sold it in 2 separate sales, the real estate. So we did the first one, I want to say like in March or April of 2025. And so that one was like the former funeral home and one of the properties. And so we took that and we looked around, but I realized like I could, with the equity that I already had in the properties, because I started those on 20-year mortgages with like I said, great interest. Yeah. And I had I put 25% down, so I already had like really good equity in those properties. So I realized like, well, I can cash flow $250, $300 on a new construction property with what I'm putting down, still pay off like, $3,500 maybe a year on the mortgage. Plus, if I'm looking at 2 to 3% appreciation, I'm totaling that up, and it's like, well, if I move over $200,000 worth of equity into one of those properties, that's $500,000. I'm getting about 10% on my 200,000. And so, and I'm looking at it as like 10-year holds. Mm-hmm. So it's really more of an appreciation play. And if I can get roughly 10%, and then the nice thing is I'm not worrying about, CapEx, maintenance, and really vacancy is not much of an issue for me either, just because new people want to live in new constructions. They have great layouts. They have new granite countertops. They're in great locations. So
And there's not much of a supply, right? There aren't many people doing what you do.
Yeah.
I don't think that like Lennar is keeping any to rent, right? And none of the big companies do that, correct?
They're trying to advertise right now. I get the advertisements that they're building for rent, but it's small potatoes compared to. You're right,
really,
but they are actually advertising it now. Yeah.
Lennar is the one that's really leaning into it. Like, hey, look at all these communities. We'll run the numbers for you if you want to be an investor and buy a new construction home.
Oh, they are marketing towards investors.
Yeah.
But they're not in the game.
But themselves. They're not in the game themselves. But they I saw recently that they're actually looking at like doing some property management for you even too.
Oh yeah.
I think the hard thing is, I think they're looking at people who live in markets that are probably more difficult to get cash flow on.
California,
bring your money. Come and invest in Oklahoma, and you can buy a house for $250,000, and put this much down, and you can cash flow, and we'll property manage it for you.
Mm-hmm. I've seen some of the ads.
Yeah.
Can we go through one of the deals? Do you feel comfortable doing that?
Yeah.
We can if you want us to block the house number. I'm happy to do that.
No, that's fine. Let's do. Let's check out one of them on Pine Arbor, 6700 Pine Arbor. I have two on Pine Arbor. I own 6700 and 6733 Pine Arbor. They're pretty much the same.
Let's make a note here. 1 second.
And so as we're doing this, I've become more and more interested in the new construction side of things. I actually bought one that was a new construction duplex in St. Paul. What got you into that? Like, how did you go, hey, new construction seems to be something I'm interested in? Yeah,
so my agent was just like, let's go take a look at some new construction. He said, so when I first sold the business, I had some capital, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to buy an investment property. And we bought a townhome in Woodbury, a new construction townhome. And it was like 3.3 and 385, and we put 200 down on it just to and make it cash flow as well. But it has an HOA, which kind of became a little bit of a pain. So I just told them, like, when we were doing the 1031s, I said, let's avoid HOAs. But I like investing in like the Woodbury Cottage Grove area and Hastings, because I have 3 properties in Hastings as well. So I'm kind of all along that side. And the townhome I bought was in a really great school district, so I figured like that would be something that people would want. But then I started looking, like, everything in Woodbury basically has an HOA. Mm-hmm. Like, you just can't get new construction in Woodbury with an HOA. Plus,
and they don't want you to rent
without an HOA.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then on top of that, like the houses that I'm buying in Cottage Grove are right really on the edge of Woodbury. But if you were to put them in Woodbury, they would be $150K more.
Yeah.
Right. The same house, like it, and you'd have an HOA.
Yep.
And it's just like, well, everything's expanding there.
The renters are willing to drive an extra 6 minutes.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So this place is looks like you bought it in 2025, May of 2025. So coming up on a year ago.
Yep.
2,500 square feet, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. And who's the builder on this one?
This is D.R. Horton.
Okay.
I've got 5 from D.R. Horton that I bought last year.
And what'd you put down on this one? Approximately.
So new construction, typically, you don't get any deals. When you bought 5, did you get any sort of negotiation, or was it just list price, take it or leave it?
No.
You can wheel and deal a little bit.
You can
get closing costs at least.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of built in. They're planning on giving that away.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like real discounts,
More, so they don't want to ever sell at a discount, because they're always trying to make sure that that the values of the homes in the community don't decrease, because
so they just
need
want
to
to
keep
give you
selling.
more upgrades.
So they give you upgrades, like ones that I'm looking at recently, like they don't include like washer and dryer, so you're gonna have to buy washer and dryer out of pocket. So we try to negotiate that, and they're like, well, no, but we'll give you $8,000 on closing costs. So
Okay.
yeah, we negotiated. You can negotiate sometimes like upgrades on kitchen sets, things like that. But
Yeah, okay.
but they won't let the
They won't
sale
actually
price
decrease. Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, I've worked enough new construction deals to see like there's just usually zero haggling at all, really.
Yeah,
and then, they'll let you pay more, but not less.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that I like to do with the new construction too is like, so this community on Pine Arbor, these were like the last couple houses that they were building there. So we were kind of in at the end, which is good and bad. I mean, we probably paid more than some of the people that got in early, but also like now it's done. There's no more houses being built there. So we're not competing with like new construction if we ever wanted to sell.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Now, some of the other ones that we bought, there's homes in that same area. So we say they're a 4-3 with a 3-car garage. Well, we buy it for $500, but there's houses 2 blocks over, same builder, almost identical layout, but has another 500 square feet and a bedroom, like a 5th bedroom, and they're selling that for $625. Right. So now your comps are immediately going up because there's really not a huge difference in what you're doing. But the difference is people who are buying new construction, they're willing to sometimes pay up for that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this house, what's your monthly expenses and what do you rent it out for? And you can guess too if you're within $100 or so.
My mortgage on that is about $2,000.
Large down payment.
Yeah. I paid,
And you get the benefit of the low taxes to begin with, right? Or
the first year in taxes is nice because it's still assessed as a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I get about $3,000 a month rent for these.
Cool.
I have, like I said, I have 5. They rent anywhere from $2,950 to $3,100.
Mm-hmm. If you want a
they're
nice,
all 4-bedroom.
Yeah, one of them is a 5-bedroom.
If you want a nice single family home, really in any decent area of the Twin Cities, you're paying $3,000 a month. That's kind of where the market's at, whether it's new construction or a nice, 50s home.
Yeah, I mean, we
pretty
have
much where they start.
We have small 3-bedroom in northeast Minneapolis getting $2,250 or something like that, and it's small, and I mean, it's nice for what it is, but it's not nice compared to this, right? It's
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, and you're getting a lot of people who want to like live in a house or they have a family or something like that, but they don't have the 5-10% to put down right off the bat. And if they do put 5 or 10% down, they're not paying $3,000 a month anymore.
correct.
You ever consider doing any like rent to own type of stuff in your marketing, or even like go down that road? Because there's probably a lot of overlap with your tenants, and I don't know, people who would be game for that contract for deed.
Yeah, I haven't considered it yet, but I have had people terminate leases early because they're buying a house. So they're going, I mean, they're getting in there and going, well, for a little bit more, we could just own it, so.
Because you're getting a higher quality renter who has the money to move. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes. Okay.
Not always.
That's my issue
Who
right
is
now.
it? So we were talking about this before. We like to talk neighborhoods. Who likes to live in Cottage Grove? Like, what's your avatar on these properties specifically?
Yeah, it's really been different. And to be honest, I'm not going to give you good information on this because I don't know that well.
You're not doing the management
I'm not
day-to-day.
Yeah, I mean, my property management company is giving me applications and I'm reviewing those.
Got it.
Yeah,
it's obviously someone with some money if they're willing to pay, $2,900 and they have a certain level of lifestyle they want, I suppose. And with the bedrooms, I'm imagining it's not high school or college students, so it's probably more family based, I would think.
Yeah, I think it's family, and sometimes you'll get multi-generational family with that many bedrooms too. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of what you're looking at: people wanting to get into a good school district, live in a nice new construction home. But that can afford it. I mean,
Is there much out of town people? Because you're not that far from some, you're not that bad of a drive to, like, let's say 3M or something. So someone comes in from out of town. Is there any of that you see? Or
I haven't
too
had
small
any
a
of that
sample
yet.
size?
Yeah, too small of a sample size, I think, at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, well, so one we have under contract right now is in Oakdale. It's a new construction, and we're buying this one now because my property manager, he was working with this couple that was trying to find a newer home, nice home in Lake Elmo. And there were 2 that were listed, but they got scooped up before they could get in there. Well, they've been renting a house in Stillwater for like 10 or 15 years, and the owner of that home is going to sell it, and they need to be out at the end of March. And so my agent called me and said, hey, I got this couple. This is their price range. I think a new construction could work for them. Would you be interested if they signed a 5-year lease? And so, it's an older couple. They make plenty of money. They have family in the area. And so now we're buying this one specifically for that couple to move in and so basically we're buying them a brand new house. And
Wow.
But they're signing a 5-year lease, starts at $3,600 a month, and then we have rental increases for the first 5 years.
And I probably missed this part, but does your property manager have a relationship with these people to vouch for them? Is that, or how did they come into your life?
Yeah,
I know
so
that you said that.
They applied for a couple of homes that the property management company was listing in Lake Elmo that were available for rent, and those got scooped up before they could even take a look.
But your PM heard the story
Yeah.
and thought, oh, this could be a good opportunity.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Jacob.
exactly.
That's a good PM, man.
Yeah. He's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out Adam Hunt.
Shout out Adam Hunt,
Yeah.
friend of the pod. Maybe. I don't know.
We don't know if he listens or not, but I know who he is anyway. I see. I'm on his social.
I've texted with him before. The turnover is a thing. Although, I mean, now you got this couple, but I have some high-end units, and people just don't renew because all of my awesome tenants can afford to buy a house.
Yeah.
And so I get the divorcee who wants like a cool pad, and I get the relocating couple and they're both engineers or whatever, or I get the downsizing before they figure, why don't we just buy a condo? What are we doing?
They're a step between, but you're a temporary landing spot, but they're not staying for 4 or 5 or 15 years in your case.
I mean, that's not what I just got. Somebody just gave me notice 2 days ago. She was going to be on a 2-year lease. She's ending her lease early, and it is what it is. I have to make a reasonable, that is the rule, right? I have to, if somebody walks out on their lease, it's a medical thing for her, so I'm not like being too hard on her. But she has to keep paying the rent assuming I make a reasonable effort to find someone. Mm-hmm. So I imagine, at least I'm placing my own tenants, so I'm not paying $3,500 every time.
Yeah, that is hard.
But those will add up too. But have there been any surprises? I guess you haven't been doing it for that long, but
Yeah, well, so actually, this was a rough week, honestly, because
Really?
that's 6700 Pine Arbor. They're one that they wanted out of the lease to purchase a house. They technically have it till the end of January, but the property management company was in there not too long ago shooting a video, and it's probably going to cost me $15,000 to turn it over.
what?
7 months old.
Oh my
What?
gosh!
And these people are buying a house?
Yeah, they let their kids just go crazy with markers and crayons. We're pulling, pulling toys out of the toilets.
Oh my!
But basically full like paint and like you can't just touch it up. It's pretty bad. And then we're gonna have to rip out some carpeting.
Oh my!
It's yeah. So that's a little disheartening.
And you have a deposit of $3,000 from them?
Yeah.
But you paid a commission when you leased to them, so
Yeah.
that's too bad, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
So in some ways you want them out because
Can anyone
obviously they're gonna
listening-
keep causing damage, but
Can
I wonder
anyone
what the deal
listening
is.
beat $15,000 to recarpet and paint for Jacob? Because I know we can get you better pricing than that. No offense to your property manager.
No, we're gonna get a few bids too, I think so. But yeah, well, and I really got to take like full. I haven't been able to get in there yet, so I'm actually meeting the p.m. over there on Tuesday. So we're going to walk through and kind of figure out. So the hard thing is like with an older unit, it feels like you can turn it over, and if it's not perfect, it's okay as long as it looks nice.
Sure.
When you're renting out brand new construction, though, it needs to look brand new still, even after a turnover, because it's not that old, right?
And
so
people are paying for that look and feel. That's what they want. That's what's attracting them, right?
Yep, 100%.
As opposed to like Northeast Minneapolis bars.
Yep.
That crowd doesn't care.
Yeah.
Tacos.
Yeah.
Yeah, my older properties in Hastings, I have 3 of them: a duplex, a triplex, and the commercial mixed use one. And those are, everyone knows those are built in the late 1800s, right? They're not expecting like totally level floors or anything like that. But if I have a nick in a wall or something like that, like it's not the end of the world, right? Mm-hmm. Or if the windows are a little old, or if, whatever, there's a little stain on the carpet that it's clean, but you can't get it quite out.
Well, in truth, I mean, obviously you could always sue them, but that doesn't usually go super well. You do have some leverage. If they want to buy a house, you could not let them out unless they give you a little bit more. You say, hey, look, you guys destroyed this place. You got to come up something. You got to give me some more money or amount,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't been in this situation before.
When does their lease technically end?
So their lease started, it was a 12-month that started May 1st of 2025. So end of April would be like when the 1-year lease would be up.
And have you negotiated with them about the early termination?
Yeah, my property management company did. So they
because the other
they agreed to it already. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I don't know if this
there was an early termination fee involved.
Yeah, I don't know if this is all
maybe already done.
Yeah, I don't know if this is all going to make sense or be worth it. But you have leverage because once they buy the new house, guess what you get to do? If you get a lawsuit against them, you can put a lien on it, and then they can't buy or sell until they pay you off. So you have some leverage to be do you really want to go this route? Because in the end, I can get the full money plus interest and attorney's fees someday. So why don't we just come to a deal that works for both of us, right? And it's really just the leverage so that you can come to the table with something,
Yeah, so I think what's going to happen is through the property management company, they'll send them a bill for that, and then maybe explain why they should, pay that bill, or at least negotiate with them in terms of that. And then, if they're refusing, maybe you look legal avenues. I don't know. I mean, I understand when you have a turnover, there's, a lot of times you're going to pay out of pocket to turn a property over. That's just the price of doing business. But
it's just 15 is excessive, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And how does somebody who's responsible enough to be qualified to buy a house also destroy a house? What's their house going to look like?
Yeah.
Or are they just that disrespectful to you,
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they were mad that they had to pay an early termination fee or something like that and just said, well, let the kids do whatever they want to do. I don't know.
Maybe. So everyone knows, this is for the listeners as much as, but we had a property where where the people owed us a bunch of money. We took them to court. We won. I mean, it was a cut and dry case, right? Something probably similar to this. Yeah. And in the end, what I did is I just put a lien, or whatever, or actually technically it was a collection on a judgment on his credit report. And then when he wanted to buy the house, that's when I got paid. And I gave him a deal, right? But again, you can use it as leverage. So I would highly recommend you at least get to the process with that kind of dollar figure where you slap a lien on them. So someday they have to give you something. It might not be your full amount, but even if you get 30%, it's going to be well worth it,
Yeah. That's what I was kind of leaning towards too, was going that route.
Yeah.
Well, what's next for you, man? We're almost out of time here, but are you going to keep going on with the same strategy, or I suppose have you spent all the 1031 money at this point?
All the 1031 money is spent. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You've got leverage though. You can, because these big down payments.
Yeah, and I have the property we're closing on in March, and after that, I'll probably buy 1 or 2 more properties this year, and then kind of just let everything settle.
Sure. But sticking with the new construction.
Yeah, probably. We didn't buy only new construction. I also bought like a property from the 90s out in Woodbury, kind of off Radio in Valley Creek. And
No HOA, I assume.
no HOA.
That was
Yeah,
nice.
so that was nice, and it had a nice fenced in yard and on a pond, and I mean, a little bit outdated, but not terrible. I mean, it was built in the 90s, and a nice 3-car garage, and that one rents for $2,900, and that one's pretty easy, honestly. I mean, there are a few maintenance things when someone first moves in. You always find those maintenance things that you didn't know about till somebody lives in it. But after that, it's been really good. So, maybe even an older property like that too, just in a really good area, good school district.
Well, just imagine what these single-family rents are going to be 4 years from now, 8 years from now, 12 years from now. I don't know how single-family rents nationwide went way up over COVID. I'm sure there's been some depression in certain markets, but in the Twin Cities, we just keep seeing them go up. So I'm just very bullish on single-family investing in general.
Yeah, especially I think in that range of like 350 to 500. I think that's just a really good sweet spot in the suburbs there. I mean, I know you guys probably invest more St. Paul, Minneapolis, but over in the suburbs there, 350 to 500, they just get scooped up quick.
I do invest in St. Paul almost exclusively, but just, getting busy with the spring market here, doing a lot more suburban showings for just my retail clients. Driving past these 70 split levels, like, dude, I should own a couple of these in Eagan, Mendota Heights, something that's not too far from my house, but I'm 8 minutes from Eagan here. Something on a cul-de-sac. Because I just still think the Twin Cities provide such amazing value nationwide compared to other metros. And you can be on this like picturesque cul-de-sac with 2,200 finished for like 450 still here in the Twin Cities. And how long is that going to last, really?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think that's just such a nice, like a nice area where a lot of people can afford it, and a lot of people want that. So yeah, I mean, it's just a really good range. So I feel like the appreciation on these ones is gonna be nice, like 10 years from now as things kind of fill in.
Yeah.
Woodbury's really growing, and I feel like that's just gonna leak over into like Cottage Grove, and then it'll fill in all the way down to Hastings, I think. Mm-hmm. And you can see like even on the south side, like Rosemount area and Lakeville, like everything between those areas
Ton of
is
growth.
just getting filled up. Like you just so many houses filling in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to just kind of become like, they were kind of separate cities, and now if you'd have to drive
Eventually they'll be
like 10 minutes in
connected,
between, and now it just feels like you're just going through one city, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. This has been super interesting. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jacob. You got anything to plug? Probably not, huh?
No, not really. I am selling a couple lots in Hastings if anyone's interested in a nice buildable lot. I've got 2 side by side. Each one's a 1/4 acre, right across the street from Wilson Park. Beautiful park. 3 blocks from the river. 3 blocks from downtown Hastings. Walking. So, if anybody's interested in some land,
What does a 1/4 acre go for there?
I had it listed last year at $95 per lot. So it really depends. There's just no buildable acres that close to downtown in Hastings. But there's developments going on the outskirts of Hastings where it's nothing but land, where you're getting builders building back
Sure.
there.
Yeah.
But this one you'd be open to your own builder too. So if you're interested, hit me up on Facebook. That's really the only place I go.
Yeah.
Jacob Rich, WRICH.
Hit up Jacob if you want to buy the lot. Cool.
Sweet.
Thanks, man. This has
you.
been great.
Thanks,
for doing the
appreciate
pod.
it.
Yeah, bye.
See ya. So what's going on today, Tim? Other than our new screen.
Yeah. Well, we're fresh off the meetup that just went really well. I mean, it was really exciting. I was just saying earlier, I met so many new people at this meetup. We had the regulars and the familiar faces, but there was a ton of new people. And so there's an energy definitely growing both in investing interest and in the meetup itself. And so I'm just going to encourage more people to come, because I just think, I don't know who you're going to meet, but I think it's whoever you are, you're going to meet someone who's impactful to your business, right? I mean, that's happened with Tyler. That's how Tyler, met one of his business partners, and it's happened for other people. So I'm just going to encourage you to please come to the next meetup. which the next one is the 11th, February 11th.
Property management best practices with John Scribante. Thank you for sponsoring the show, John. Out west in Hopkins.
Yeah, in Hopkins, we're going to meet at a brewery. We're going to do something there, and then there's going to be at least an opportunity to go to John's office at the end if people want to, kind of for an after party, so to speak, or a more, casual conversation, if you will. But again, it's just an opportunity to come meet other people. And I hope whoever you are that's listening today makes it to that event. And you can find it on our website. We now have a website that we can send everyone to for everything, right? So if you want someone to subscribe to the show, they can do it through the website. There's links to every platform that you can think of on there. There's a way to sign up for our meetup events right there, so you don't have to try to find us on meetup.com. You can go right to the website and you can submit ideas. You can find our sponsors. You can get our discounts from our sponsors. Yeah. You can schedule a one-on-one with me or Tim if you're looking for us to represent you. That too. Yeah. So it's just TwinCitiesRealEstateInvesting.com, recently redesigned by a friend of the pod, Trevor. So we appreciate you very much. And thank you, Trevor. Nice to meet Trevor at the meetup last night. Yeah, if you guys have never been to our meetup, the best ones I think are on location at a project that one of us is doing. So maybe it's a friend, could be a client of ours, could be us. Last night we were at a house in Highland Park that I'm renovating, and I will then refinance and rent it out. And so, it's casual. I talk for maybe an hour, answer questions, and then everybody mingles, and it's a good time. Yeah, it was great. It was really cool. So anyway, I got some deals. You got some deals? I got some deals to talk about. So let's talk about one this time and one on the next one. How's that? Yeah, exactly. We're recording two today, so. Yeah. Okay, so I'm buying this house. It's on the east side. And you know the east side of St. Paul pretty well, don't you, Tim? I lived there for 19 years, and I actually financed a house on the other side of 35E. Recently? No. Okay. No, 20 years ago. Okay. Like yeah, like a really long time ago. Just maybe DeSoto might be the street name. Anyway, so if you're looking at a map and you're on audio right now, if you know where 35E in Maryland is, that would be one of the major cross streets to this area. There's a fairly busy street that runs parallel to 35E, Minnehaha Avenue. And so in between Maryland and Case on Minnehaha, about halfway is what we're looking at for location. Yeah. Well, we're not on Minnehaha. Is that what you just said? Well, I guess we're just off of Minnehaha. Yeah, sorry. Where is Minnehaha, though? Right there, that busy, right? That right next to it? The busy one. No. There you go. Right here? There. Yeah. No, that's Westminster. Oh, that's Westminster. I'm sorry. Yeah. My bad. Anyways, this is on Westminster in between Case and Maryland. And came to me, actually, friend of the pod, Jesse Harris connected me with this guy. Okay. Remember Jesse? Do you ever work with Jesse? He was really good friends with Jordan Moorhead. Okay. And he went to the gym with him and stuff. Whatever. Again, just goes to show that if enough people know that you're looking for deals, as long as they know specifically what you buy, and this guy happened to know that I specifically like cheap single-family houses that need work, he texted me. He had sent it to someone else, and they were not interested. And so this guy, I think, is going into assisted living or something. He had talked to an agent, so he has an agent. But he wanted another option, a non-agent option to buy. And so check it out. It says it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, but it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It's got like a toilet in the basement kind of thing. One of those, yeah. But it's got a bigger corner lot. The siding and the roof and the exterior is all really, really clean. The roof is newer. Lots of trees, huh? Yeah, lots of trees. There's some older windows, but, it is what it is. Cute little porch. And then, this is when it was sold back in, 2017 or something. Or no, 2021. So he hadn't owned it for that long. I'm going to refinish the flooring
and paint, and maybe do like surface level stuff in the kitchen. This kitchen's actually really spacious. Like you could, I'm not going to put an island there, but it's big enough too. The other
Looks
thought,
like you could use some flooring, huh? And
Yep.
then just upgrade the flooring in the kitchen.
Yep. So I'll probably just do the classic like gray tiles that people are doing in this kitchen.
Okay.
The other thought I had, Tim, so this is the other side of the kitchen, right? And keep in mind, this is a pretty big space, but you have this little dining room area, so you don't need an eat-in kitchen, especially in this price point, you know? It's going to be a $250,000 house when it's done.
Yeah, and it's kind of, so if you're not visually seeing this, it looks like it, so you've got a wall of cabinets, upper and lower, with a sink, and then on the opposite wall with a table in between is your refrigerator, stove, and a small cabinet.
So this is what I want to do. Where the refrigerator, stove, and fridge is, could be a 3/4 bath. Okay. So this wall could come out. You could run it right with this soffit here. And then you could build an actual, now it's a little bit more of a galley kitchen, right? Because they're closer together. But I think it's getting this from being a 1-bathroom home to a 2-bathroom home is where most of the value is.
I see that. What I would point out, if you're going to do that, my thought would be you'd want the wall of the bathroom that faces the kitchen to be flat all the way across, no doorway there. Put the doorway on the side, so it's kind of like
right. Look at my cursor.
Yes,
the door's
exactly.
right here.
Yep,
exactly. Yep. Well, nobody. Yeah. Do you want a bathroom right off of the kitchen? That's like what, faux pas or whatever. But whatever, dude.
Yeah, it's not that bad. But it's. You might say it's not ideal, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
yeah,
and maybe it's better than. Well, where's the other bathroom? Is it on that floor or is it upstairs?
It's upstairs.
Yeah, so now you have a main floor bath.
And maybe I just make it a half bath. Maybe it's just a powder room, right?
Yeah.
And make it kind of nice. But I mean, saving money on the plumbing and all the tile work and the door and the fan, everything that goes into a shower.
Yeah.
It could be a decent move. And so anyways, it's, upstairs there's a couple decent bedrooms.
And we've done that. In some ways, you'd make the kitchen more functional, because we had a kitchen that was much too big in a bathroom that just didn't work. We brought the wall out so that the bathroom became more usable and functional, and that made the kitchen more functional too, because with this long distance between your stove and your sink, you're carrying things across, 8 feet, and you really want it to be like 3 feet, 4 feet, so. You know what I mean? And so I think it'll actually be more functional and people like it more.
Yeah. The bathroom kind of is what it is. I don't think I would do much to this bathroom. Maybe do some flooring upstairs. The basement, yes, this could easily be finished into a 3rd bedroom or a den. And so anyways, I can buy it for $176. Most of the comps. So if you just look around, I mean, I'll just show you. It's not exactly a home run deal. Okay. It's a place to park some money for a little bit, but look at this. This is why I'm really big on, you can always cherry pick comps. If you're optimistic, you can talk yourself into doing anything in real estate. But what I really like to see is that the big picture makes this deal make sense. So that's why I bought Pinehurst, because it's like, what's the ARV going to be? It's a little bit hard to say. However, when I look at all the homes in the neighborhood that have sold, they're all in the upper 4s to mid 5s. So therefore, buying this home at $300 feels safe. And similar to that, if I just do a very basic single family search, and what I'm doing right now, folks, we have 26 sales within the very immediate, we'll just say half-mile area. They're all in the 2s, and if you click on the outliers, like there's one at 147, okay, now we're a little concerned. What if it's only worth 147? Well, this has an 800 square feet. It's not a comp whatsoever, right? Go back to the list, 224, blah, blah, blah. And again, I'm not even putting in any criteria yet. Of course, I spent more time than just doing this to determine whether I want to buy a place yet. Is that kind of hard to see up there, Tim?
Yeah, a little, yeah.
Now, can you see the...
Yep. I can see the actual prices now.
Yeah. So even if I were to filter for size, because this is only 1,200 square feet, I'm getting the third best deal this year in the neighborhood.
And I would definitely err on the side of the house is closer to the highway, because when you get that close to the highway, that matters, right?
Yeah.
So I would err on that side, and I don't know how much that does it, but you're right. I mean, no matter what way you cut it, like you go 147, 190, and then everything else is a 2 and up, right?
Right. And so you could certainly, I could list this house, I bet, for $220 and paint. And I think if we have the kind of spring market I think we're going to be having, I think it sells. And maybe that's what I'm going to do. Maybe if somebody's listening wants it for, I don't know, $190, hit me up. You can make a little money.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's he wants to close. There's a tenant in there. Actually, funny, small world. I know the tenant, so that's kind of awkward.
Yeah. So
But
how did he? So was this like a roommate tenant, or did he move out?
Yeah, I don't really know the story.
Okay,
I don't know
gotcha.
the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was funny because I've been going back and forth about this house, but I did just complete a refi yesterday. I got the direct deposit. I don't have an immediate deal, so like it feels like a safe place to park the dough.
Sure.
But I was having coffee with Jeff and Brian, the old Upside crew.
Okay. Yeah.
Yesterday, and they were just looking at the comps. They're like, "Do it. It's a no-brainer. Just do it. Quit hesitating. You should do it." And sometimes in real estate, you need friends like that to just like, or you need friends to be like, "Hey, don't do that." But in this case, they helped me just kind of like see the big picture. Like it seems like a safe deal. So
Sure. Cool, man.
But yeah, that's all I've got going on real estate wise. The meetup last night was great. A lot of you guys texting with a handful of you guys today, setting up coffee meetings and all that. So that's always cool to, connect on a more personal level. If you met us at the meetup, just so you know, if you want to reach out, we'd be happy to meet with you one-on-one.
Yeah.
So
Easy to find us online, especially on our new website.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Well, thanks everybody for listening. Please check out the sponsors, check out the new website, the Facebook group, the meetup, blah, 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 blah. See you later.
Bye.
That's it for today's show. You can visit the TwinCitiesRealEstateInvesting.com website for show notes, tips, tricks, and other local real estate investing information. Adam and Tim would like to meet with you. To schedule a one-on-one meeting with either Adam or Tim, go to TwinCitiesRealEstateInvesting.com/schedule.